relatively different in terms of draft. They're going in for a Selena ban to start off game 2.
I don't really think that it was a fatal mistake, but it's just more on the
Risky play.
It was a risky play. They didn't really use the retribution. There's that, but after that certain mistake that they made, they just turtled, and they had the lead even with the Lord.
That's right, and I believe that at one point they were still pressing on the attack. Like, they're still JPL just trying to draw every single aggression towards his side. Like, he's trying to cause quite a steer in the distraction to be able to open up the rest of the lanes up until the Luminous Lot came back up online, and that flank coming out of Lemon really changes the tempo of the team fights.
And right now, we are having our bans. It seems to me that the atmosphere around Evos SG got a lot more serious. Right now, Zay's talking to his players. And yeah, we actually see a lot of yawning here from our players.
RQ Hoshi is just
chill.
Low key saying like, I'm just really tired of too much of a basic game. Bring me more. Of course, I'm not trying to speak on their behalf, and that does not actually come from me as well. Just saying, you know, like, no disrespect, but
probably
just assumptions.
Probably
just assumptions.
They just lack sleep.
Yeah, you know,
that could be it.
Gamers usually have a nocturnal schedule, you know, like they play till late or so, but when it comes down to the pro team, you have a very stringent schedule of scrims, you have practices, media shoots, and interviews. I guess it's definitely been a long day. RQ Hoshi, Evos SG has been up since the early morning. So definitely, it has been a tiring day for the likes of Manny. And playing the very final series here, it's evidently so. Now, bans have already come true.
Even if you're not playing, you still have to watch the games that are happening at the very first, at the start of the day. So RQ Hoshi right now, looking at the bans, it's Esmeralda, Brody, and the Claude. For the side of Evos SG, it's a Selena, Ling, and the Natalia. And RQ Hoshi probably thinks that Pokemon might go for that side lane Claude with the Avarice again. So they just take it out.
That's right. And up till now, no Natalia, permanently banned.
But by the way,
oh yeah,
this is the first time that RQ Hoshi didn't ban the Cho.
That's right. And I feel like maybe they want to open this one for themselves in this sort of case. So Soul, he wants to secure for Potato once again. He was playing that Yushin to perfection. And with that sort of the gameplay, I'm pretty sure that this is something that they can rely back on. Even though Cho was being open, we know that JPL, he's pretty good at it as well, but hey, it's definitely a chance for you to just secure this top tier pick before you give that double selection coming for RQ Hoshi. So you got so many
power
things on
picks.
board. Lapu Lapu, Yuzong, you name it.
Cho.
Go ahead.
Yuzong. They didn't go for the Benedetta. It seems to me that RQ Hoshi doesn't give Benedetta any priority. They had all the chance in the world to get it in multiple occasions and multiple games, but they did not really pick it for themselves. I think once they did, and it was Psycho using it as a mid laner.
That's right. And well, I gotta say that, you know, Lemon now stealing away JPL's pick. This is where he does get the Cho, because you've been talking about that Cho. This is something that he could always use. So it's really not too much of a big concern. Now that they can also secure the Benedetta, yep, it didn't really seem like it's a high kill volume for the Benedetta. As I mentioned, they could have gone for the Hayabusa as well, but hey, Benedetta is simply the better option in that sort of this instance. So the question is, will RQ Hoshi actually respond with the selection of the Hayabusa, since that they already got that Yuzong?
Yeah, I mean, they did, but right now I think they can put this to the gold lane if they wanted to. They could avoid the Yuzong in terms of laning. Right now, I think for the side of Evos SG, they need a straightforward way to deal with things. Earlier, as you can see, you have the Kagura, who's a good catch, plus the Jawhead. But they had a lot of requirements to catch out people. For the side of RQ Hoshi, it was straightforward. Just get the Belleric, press the ultimate, and you catch multiple people.
I honestly like the Lo Yi pick right here, offering quite a significant burst as well, but RQ, they just know how to play the map very well. We evidently saw coming from Lemon that he could easily pull off those sort of tricks. Now that we're going in towards phase number 2, they find the opportunity to ban away the Hayabusa, knowing that they didn't win for that third pick earlier on. Lapu Lapu will not be seen at all, and surprisingly enough, Evos SG didn't really want to go in for that Lapu Lapu, even it was being opened up, is because that, you know, it's even more worthy to secure things that they're more comfortable on. But let me tell you this, there's still one ban on each side, and that Forza that we talked about, I honestly want to see it come online.
If Evos SG wants it, then I think they can, but RQ Hoshi won't definitely ban it just because they have the Yu Zhong.
That's right. And with that, I just feel like this sort of the final ban here will be targeting on towards more pulls coming in from the marksman side of things, perhaps. And there's still a couple of all these options left available. Without that sort of the clock online, I think you could see 1-1 could be pretty much of a good pick coming for RRQ.
It could be it is an RRQ pick.
Yeah.
We've seen it multiple times already. RRQ Hoshi isn't one to back down from that 1-1 side lane. Evos SG with their final ban, they go for the Lancelot. They don't want Albert to get his hands on that hero.
Yeah, you just look at Evos SG side, all 5 bans. Technically, on the assassin side of things, yeah, you could definitely argue. Yeah, Selena is technically
some are mid, yeah.
Yeah, but hey, it's looking pretty solid to say that Evos SG did not want anybody to get anywhere near that Yishin Sin.
RQ Hoshi on their 4th pick. This is the 2nd phase of pickings. Albert gets the 1-1. Yeah, and they still have a room to adjust for their jungler.
Indeed. This is where these 2 picks will be setting the tempo in the front line sort of matters. And I still want to see that Fossa. Will they actually go for it right here, though? But honestly, I'm not too certain if that's actually going to be all too good, because if they were to go in for a Feather Airstrike and actually get caught out, wrapped around by the Yuzong, it's hard to actually get around with that. But hey, they're going in for the Harry for the 2nd time for Pokemon. Oh, this is a Harley special coming from the side of Aeon. So back then, these guys, of course, have been playing a lot of Harley in the early seasons, and Aeon used to be known as the best Harley out there in the MYSG.
That is true, but for RQ Hoshi, I would have liked if they went for a Sylvana tank. Just looking at the Evos SG lineup right now, they could have gone for it. It could have been better, but Jawhead is their go-to person. Now, I think Evos SG is just going for this, have multiple problems or multiple mobile heroes that can go in and out. And honestly, I'm seeing RQ Hoshi's lineup right now. They don't really have catch as much. The only thing that they have is the ejector and the unstoppable force. For the Yu Zhong, yes, the knockup is there, but it will be very hard to land against these heroes.
Yeah, that possibly will be true, but just look at how much DPS damage that they can deal as well as sustain.
That's true.
That itself will be really scary in the late game, especially when 1-1 gets activated. Now, it's time for us to see whether or not can the hometown favorites here, Evos SG, pull 1 pointer back and find a way to climb up and towards the upper brackets, because if they want the best chance, they have to find a way to put RQ in towards the lower brackets. That's where the Kings will be slaying some of all the other bigger teams out there, and that definitely will be an interesting thing to picture, but it's all boiling down to results at the very end of the day. We will be a little bit patient, as of course being displayed on the screen. So we go back in towards this draft. So we got the Harif on the other side, also with the Yishin Shin. sort of like a double marksman sort of composition. Obviously, one of it will be jungling, and over on towards the other end, RQ side actually fielding that Roger. So let's talk us through strength of the Roger right now.
Strength of Roger right now is he has this gap closer that deals damage. So it's more likely that when you pick the Roger, you would aim to go for those high HP bar off tanks. You would want him to face against those heroes. But then again, the Benedetta might be aiming to go for that off-tank build that we've been seeing. The Brute for Breastplate, the Blade Armors, it's there. Then again, I'm seeing right now, in a way, it's probably just for the dive. Because seeing the requirement from Evos SG talking about complex win conditions, it's here. You can see that. There is this thing about them that they need to scale as much as possible. Harith needs to scale. Harley somewhat needs to scale as well.
Yeah.
So everyone just has this need to get their core items first before they can fight. And with Roger, as long as you have the orange buff on your side, you will deal significant amount of damage, especially in wolf form.
That's right. All the buffs will be relatively important, as well as whoever gets a hit in terms of levels will be able to just get more advantages in that sort of sense. So this is a very resource-heavy game coming out of the side of
I
Evos.
completely agree.
And with that, you gotta see from the side of RQ Hoshi, it's relatively about the same if you ask me.
R7 will be playing that Yuzhong Lemon as the 1-1. And look at this, he does not have the flicker, but he does have the Aegis. Lemon here, using that extra shield to get away from that damage and to not get forced out of lane. But Aeon here will be the target of Psycho, but there is a punish coming in here for Evos SG. Make that a 1-for-1 Contra.
Well, technically you can call that a 1-1.
Yeah. That's
All right.
actually funny.
Back into the game.
That was actually funny. It just took a while to sink in.
Seems like they're going to be changing the scores with Vin dropping out some health coming for the side of Aeon, but still, this will be Evos SG with that lead, finally breaking that truce. So having a little bit of slight advantage in the early game. I love the fact that in both of these matches that we are seeing, every time Evos SG loses a member, they go in for a trade, and that's absolutely worth it. Now, we did look at it. Yeah, sure, it's just basically the Jawhead dropping down or Vin, but you know, it's still gonna be Goldie's goal going over on towards JPL side, which means that he has enough money to just build whatever he wants.
Look at this, Albert. With Albert in the area, they could not fight him. They know that he has the buffs. He will deal a lot of damage if allowed to go for the dive, but Evos SG played that well. They did not jump the gun. They did not try to punish Lemon as much. And Lemon right now has the Aegis up this time. Mountain Shocker to get a bit of information and harass on the enemies. So RQ Hoshi will stand back.
Very preemptive measure coming in from the side of Evos SG, expanding the Mountain Shocker just like that. And now, with that, we have 4 members right there. Oh, Aeon looking to actually go in for the catch, trying to actually get Vin, but he's falling down low. No follow-ups whatsoever coming from the side of Evos SG. But with the turtle coming low, they are forcing their way back, and they are giving this one up for RQ Hoshi to steal it away.
Evos SG knows that they cannot contest that as long as the Roger is there.
Oh,
that's how much pressure they exude here for the side of Evos SG. But look at that ejector. It catches out Pokemon. Zaman forced. He is forced out. And that's going to be Potato getting the kill secured. JPL going out. He does have the Jit Kundo and the Shunpo. And this is going to be not a 1-for-1, but someone going down on RQ Hoshi alone.
Yeah, and it's still very much evened up, but this buff is being hijacked. But Potato, he almost got caught out. It will still be another trade coming out of these both teams. Down force being used out, and it will be Albert chasing right in. This is looking relatively great for Pokemon as Albert tries to make a great escape, but Aeon says, no, I could still find you with whatever concept I could throw at your face.
Evos SG timed that perfectly. Pokemon knew that the buff was out, so he decided to just jump in. It was the perfect condition. It was the perfect requirement for him. He had a Zaman Force. He had the capability to, you know, just have this trade with a Roger. And Albert knew that he had to get out of harm's way, so he just tried to get away, and after that, it wasn't enough. His mobility isn't that good.
Aeon's right here. It's going to be going in for the catch as well. Yuzon now finally using the Dragon 4, but it's way too late. Aeon has been able to find those pickups right there. He didn't really need that flame shot even in this scenario.
And that's why you call it deadly magic, because it's deadly.
Indeed. So, a couple of these sort of the goal being garnered coming from the side of Evos SG. They are once again ahead, but only by a very slight margin. Now Psycho having a little bit of the camp protection. JPL causing some disruption towards the top side of things as Lemon has been having so much of the Guardian Angel by his side, but Pokemon just wants to poke a little bit of fun on this Jawhead. Nothing much has been able to be garnered here, but that turtle slowly having it being yoinked away as Evos SG has been able to get this one in the bag.
JPL with the Wave of the Dragon, he catches out that Lu Yi, and right now it's a 3v4 situation. Make this a 3v4 actually, and right now he just jumps in. Pokemon gets bursted down. Potato here trying to deal as much damage as possible. Psycho getting deadly magic. It deals no damage at all.
I just love the way that they are pressing on towards the attack. You can just see how determined they are by just committing with the Way of the Dragon as well as the Zaman Force. Now Soul pulling in the wave as he's trying to proxy this one down. Lowy is going to be making his way over on towards the lane, but still having some space to be able to just force a little bit of the exchange later on. And the good thing about having such a high mobility composition from the side of Evos SG is that they can easily find those picks whenever they want to. And JPL, they're just camping towards the top side, but for Soul, he can always make his way out.
Soul here using those dashes to his advantage. He'll get away from the hands of Psycho. He will not get ejected into the 1-1.
Oh,
and there's
boy.
the unstoppable force. Aeon here using the Cyclone Eye wisely. And that's in. He got it in
Perfect
time.
timing.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, I guess that is definitely the magic trick in the hat. But RQ has been able to get their hands on towards the very first turret, which is in the mid lane. So this is going to be a little bit troublesome for the side of Evos SG, knowing for the fact that some parts of the jungle they have to give away in terms of pressure. But look at this sort of scenario. It's a 1-2-2 coming out from side of RQ Hoshi, and they're finding ways to just put Soul to sleep. But at this very moment, is Aeon going to be able to do so much? But Albert is going to be diving right in. Oh my God, just look at the damage. Oh, it's going to be bursting him down, but Soul cannot do anything at all. 4 members of RQ just marching right in, looking for JPL as well, but he can easily just use his Shinpo as well as Jikendo to get himself back out. But what exactly would the response be for the rest of Evos SG, because they don't really get that much of an exchange other than the turret on top?
Now, Albert has the Wind Talker. And with that contra, I mean, he's gonna be more confident in the dives that he will take.
Indeed, and Vin this time getting caught out.
Nice
It's gonna be having Zaman Force, but it will be a little bit more area for him to work with. Lemon tries to go in for a trade as well, but for all across the place, Psycho might just be dropped right here as Soul has been able to garner 1 kill in the back alongside with Aeon. The rest of RRQ definitely having some sort of members being bruised up. They are being forced to retreat, but currently, there's not much of an objective for them to take. Lemon still pretty much healthy at the moment, facing a 2 versus 1.
Holy Crystal is now up for Aeon, and that only means that he's gonna hurt a lot, especially with his burst potential. Now, for RQ Hoshi, I really think that they need to hold on to this certain lead that they have by just taking down the turrets. They haven't been taking down turrets. Yes, they've been winning a lot of these fights, but in terms of converting it to objectives, they haven't been successful in that department.
That's right, and just looking at this meta, how well it's been working. Oh, here comes the Electro being used up already by Soul, as he will be able to find his way back to safety. One great turret being secured coming from the side of Evos SG, 96 at the current standpoint, 3K in terms of goal lead, and that's going to be extending once they drop this turret as well. I just love the way that they are controlling the entirety of the pace of the game, forcing RQ Hoshi not to be getting too much out of all these sort of exchanges. They're still waiting for the time for Lemon to kick up a notch and just force his way through some of these fights. Luminous Lord is now online pretty much soon in the span of 3 minutes.
And that was a timely... they got the orange buff in a timely manner just because the Lord is now up. 9 minutes into the game, Albert still has a fresh orange buff, so that means he can deal a lot of damage. Albert there, turning into a werewolf. He didn't go for the jump, but that, I think, scared the hell out of Potato.
Yeah, even if he commits the jump, they still have the mobility to actually move away. So it's a very risky thing for the Roger to just be the first guy to make that move. They just need them to have the jawhead to commit towards this, and they have to give away this very first Lord on the span of 9 minutes. Remember, this is not going to be the one that's luminous, but hey, it still works very well. And you can see this is the very first time that I'm seeing a very convincing lead coming from the side of Evos SG as compared to the ones that we see before. Now, speaking of that, Ejector on towards Soul, but he would still be able to find a couple of all these areas of play. The Wow will be able to take one down, but Pokemon, he's in trouble right now. Getting saved there by Soul, but is it going to be enough? 4 versus 3 is not going to be the number that you want to be looking for, Evos. And with that, Aeon, the next one to fall to the hands of Albert with a beautiful dive right through. Only 2 members left from the side of Evos SG. JPL definitely on the wrong direction.
JPL trying to buy some time. The Lord is at the bottom lane. As you can see, Yisun Shin is making his way there so that the Lord can push a bit of these towers onto the bottom lane. Now, clearly seeing that the fight is done and he doesn't have any more information of where RQ Hoshi is going, he just went back because he didn't want to risk his life just to escort the Lord to that certain turret.
And I gotta say that RQ Hoshi played that very well. Like, they understood that, okay, with the Lord already going down towards the bot side, they are expecting to see Evos members going up towards the top, and they cut them out before they could do so, rendering that Lord useless. And even so, Evos still looking to secure more of these objectives. It's already 5 turrets in the bag as compared to 3 from the side of RQ Hoshi. Now, finally, we get a little bit of a breather here to discuss even further, because this game is absolutely nuts.
Yep. It's crazy how well these teams are utilizing the small advantages against the enemy team just to get a certain lead, 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 a certain lead.
All the fans there have been supporting him since the moment that they set foot in towards Mobile Legends Bang Bang. So I really gotta give props to this team. The veterans have been here for so long, and we talk about that last hoorah here. You can see in their spirit that they are bringing hope towards the Singaporean side. And even although I wasn't really raised here, I can feel the energy.
The passion.
Yeah, the passion. RQ side, although they have been put in such a manner before, and even recently in their MPL ID run, it was close calls against the likes of Alter Ego. So it's kind of like a little bit of a bad flashback where there's a potential of dropping the game. That's why they're trying really hard to keep themselves in a very calm mind. Same goes to the side of Evos SG, because honestly, game 1, if you actually lost such a game on your usual solo queues, of course you feel a little bit tilted, right? Like you got the Lord being taken away in really critical situations, but this time they're looking rather more convincing. Like they're doing all the right moves, just all the fundamental. I really wonder this last slot here is to be decided in this very final game.
And we head back onto the game. Potato. As we see, got the crab coin. RRQ, they stay near their base. They're not aiming to just push anytime soon. They know that Lemon needs a bit more of items here. I think Lemon, do you think that his positioning is a bit put into a bad spot just because he went for the Aegis rather than the Flicker?
I would definitely agree. In a few instances of the fight where he couldn't really get into his position where he can get the optimal pickoffs, but it's still something that is workable. Well, of course, why he chose this sort of spell is to ensure a little bit more of a safety net, especially when your team is playing on the offense. Nobody's going to be taking care of you, so he's got to find a way to juke things out or just kite in towards a certain angle. And now, at the moment, although there's not much of an objective, the next Lord that's coming online is going to be a little past 1 minute. But here goes that dive straight in towards the Harley. Oh, this is very costly.
Lemon here getting targeted by that Harley of Aeon. He survived that with the Aegis, I'm pretty sure about that. But coming into the late game, do you think the Aegis will still be relevant? Looking at the lineup here for the side of Evos SG,
but I guess every single bit of it counts as well. Yeah, I definitely agree with you that maybe it might not be as
relevant
as
as relevant.
Yeah, as relevant as a Flicker, right? But it's really down to his preference because maybe Lemon is just feeling it at this sort of moment. But at this point in time, Albert is the one that's really pulling in the weight. You can see already 5 kills being garnered, but it's pretty much a all-rounded side for the side of Evos SG. But oh my goodness, this is gonna be a camp being set up, and JPL almost fell for it. He had a hunch, and yep, just showing Lemon a little bit of how he looks like.
You know what? That could have been a disaster for the side of Evos SG, but JPL read that well. He knew that there was something up. He knew that they had the Louis. So anytime when all these members are not pushing, are not showing the waves, they're probably up to something bad.
That's right. And speaking of up to something, Evos SG is already starting things off. Diversion already being used up for the flank. Psycho as well has been there, diving right in. This is going to be the Lord being on the last quarter of health. R7 is just moving, marching in their way just to try to clip over outside of Aeon as they completely ditch the Lord. But they're looking for the kills, and RRQ Hoshi is going to be finding 2 members down for the side of Evos. Pokemon is next one on the chopping block, and most of the members of RRQ survive except for Psycho. This is looking relatively good for them to just get their hands on towards the Lord, having 2 members to be manning that. But JPL, he's got other plans. He's trying to force a split push, but he's coming right back for the Lord. But what can he do? He doesn't really have Retribution on his side, but all he can do is just to disrupt this at the very moment. This is going to be really crucial right now, but he can only watch as it falls to the hands of RQ Hoshi. And so he gets that shut down. Great pickup, but now there's a bigger problem here with the Luminous Lord in hands of RQ.
Okay, that was a good pick off coming out from Soul, just because now they have to push with the Lord with 4 members. The respawn timer on Vin is at 25 seconds at the moment, so that means they really need to think about their next move there. RQ Hoshi, are they gonna push with the Lord, or are they gonna split up, or are they just gonna ignore this Lord push all in all?
At the moment, we do see a 2-2 split, but now with the cast coming in, oh all members on deck, except for the Benedetta, and Zamapor is being used up, but Psycho as
RRQ
well as
still
Lemon.
fighting.
They are charging right in. Albert Whip, that great pick Pokemon is down. This is fake news. RRQ Hoshi, they can't escort this lot all the way straight in towards the final turret of the top side. So they could possibly chunk out the health for a little bit longer, but how long can the turret stand? As you can see, JPL tries to find a little bit more of a salvation pick, not really finding the crosshairs on towards Lemon just about yet, but they could definitely buy a little bit more time to clear that wave, but they're still hunting out for Lemon. Lemon still has some really big Aegis going on, that's the reason why he survives, and that answers your question, brothers.
That is RQ Hoshi just showing us how they use diversion, not the literal diversion that Vin has, but they put themselves onto the middle lane just because they knew that bottom lane is gonna push. Now, everyone from Evos SG had their eyes on the mid lane. They just wanted to defend that. But in the process, they lost that certain turret, and now no outer turrets here for the side of Evos SG. And they even up the map now.
Now, they are definitely breaking even. It's already in the late game phase. And, well, brothers, I'm pretty sure you want to talk about itemization. So let's have a quick look at some of all these items being brought up online. But before that, I think that they are still going to be having a little bit of a dance, but let's not worry too much about that. So difference is 1 kill. And now, yep, finally, we got the items up. So what do we have, brothers?
On 1-1, we do have the Rose Gold Meteor. And looking at Albert, he did go for the Athena Shield just to mitigate a bit of damage here coming out onto the side of Evos SG. Pokemon got the Winter Truncheon, if I'm seeing that correctly. And I think Potato is still gonna go for that, what do you call this? The Endless Battle? Just
That's
because
right.
he has the Angry Tomahawk on his side.
Oh, Divergent being used up right now. A flank coming right in there, pushing to the side, and Aeon is the one in the middle of it all. So they will be able to catch that member off inside of Evos SG, and they are fully falling back. Silent Force being used coming from the side of Pokemon. They are still trying their best to survive, but this pressure is a little bit too much. They are finding ways to catch them all out. R7 is the next one to fall, and it's a 2-member trade for inside. They are still fighting, and Psycho, he does have very little health. Bad news for his side, as they do have been being suppressed right inside the base. Perfect defense coming in for Evos SG.
Evos just did the impossible. Lemon here getting caught out, and that is Soul just being the X factor for the side of Evos SG. He wants more kills. There is the Mountain Shocker, and those are the skills. They really just want to take him down. Ejector giving Psycho a bit of shield here, but Evos Soul is out for the hunt, and he uses his, he juked that skill. He put it in a bad position, and Psycho just went for the U-turn, and that is going to be a successful escape.
There's a little bit of timer here. They finally get the towers down, and it's a 3-man dive, and there you go. Evos SG, final blow, and it will be an equalizer coming in for Singapore.
Oh my goodness, Evos SG taking a game away from RRQ Hoshi.
What was